Hello everyone and welcome to another video on demand by Hopes. If you like the video, I would definitely appreciate the like, or you can comment as well. Before we get started, I wanted to go over the first screen I shared. I did that. I did that, and I'm probably going to be doing that probably for the next, probably for the foreseeable future. What's happening in our gaming and WoW community with Method, with Limit, with Rectful. It's pretty sad, and there's a lot of allegations being thrown around and a lot of other things that are being said right now in the gaming community. I put that out there just to make sure that everyone knows that as a community, we're all friends and we all come to this place to play games and to have fun. And sometimes, you yourself are going through a hard time, or you have friends that are going through a hard time. And completely transparent is we might not have all the answers, and that's okay. There's resources out there to us available to help us deal with things that we ourselves may not just be capable of dealing with in that moment. So that screen is up there. If you have any questions or comments, you can please feel free to at me on Twitter, or hit me up on Twitch, or even comment on the YouTube comments below. But I wanted to make sure that you guys that are watching my video have a friend in me. I definitely know that I don't have all of the answers, but I can be that listening ear, completely judgment-free, and maybe point you into a direction, to a resource that will better be equipped to help you. So, to get started here, what we are seeing is we are going to be doing King's Rest plus 20, Coach to Coach. We ended up timing this. The comp was myself on my Brewmaster. We had a Rogue, a Hunter, and a Demon Hunter. So, we're going to watch this and kind of talk about what we did well, what we did bad, and then kind of the stuff in between here. So, to start off on the pool here, there is actually a way for a rogue to go in and use Cloak of Shadows and kill all of the fear ads. It works a lot of the time, but it doesn't work 100% of the time. At least we haven't perfected it with our push group. So I decided to not do that, and then just to do this the normal way. I missed the jump there on the edge. So you end up putting a vortex down there, and then we just DPS the ads down like normal. This was Sanguine League, so this was last week, I think. So then you pull these three together. Some people end up pulling 4, but from a percentage standpoint, you actually only need 3. And then the first 2 aren't tied together like the other 2 are. So with this as the tank, it's just making sure that you have the suppression slam going out into nowhere, so it doesn't accidentally clip any members of your team. Because if you do that, especially on fortified weeks, it could result into a death. And then depending on where it's facing, it could be a full run wipe. So instead of worrying about that, I always take up here, where you see there, and kind of rotate to the side here. And then a lot of tanks and a lot of people don't know this, but if you are in once the slam goes out, you can stand in it. Even though the graphic's still going, you're allowed to stand in it and it doesn't do any damage. It's just that initial hit that hurts. So then the Sanguine, so ring a piece there to knock them out so they don't stand in their own, to get healed up. Take the spider into the next room, which is pretty standard. We're going to LOS here. So, I know another one of the streamers that I watch, his name is Trollbrew. If you have a chance, check him out. He is, I think, a 4.5k IO tank. Anyway, he does a really good job, and one of the things that he has with his group, as the tank, he does do a lot of the callouts, but on certain things, he has another member of his team do the interrupt callouts. So in our push group, I have Kay, our Demon Hunter. He does the callouts for us on the interrupts. He actually does a really good job with it, and it's just one of those things where, you know, as a tank, if you're worrying about so many other things, that sometimes it's good just to have someone else do something as simple but complex and needed as calling the interrupts out. So we ended up doing this here. Boom, dead. So some groups you see in the hierarchies, they end up pulling these first 2 packs together. I don't. I have in the past, and I get mixed results with it. Sometimes it works really well, and then sometimes it doesn't. If you do it on Fortified Week, it's definitely worth probably putting your hero there. But since there's a 4-pack in the back left corner when you're looking into it from here, that's where I typically do hero on Fortified Weeks. So I just pull them as separate packs. Like I said, you can pull them together if you want. It's definitely a risk or reward. King's Rest, in my opinion, overall actually has a pretty smooth timer, and it's a very, very obtainable timer. So I just normally pull the 1, and then the advantage of pulling the 2 is you don't have to wait for these minions to pat. So you see here we've lost probably 7 or 8 seconds, but then we ended up bursting them all down here. It's just definitely the safer play in my opinion, but again, don't necessarily have to. This Shadow Witch Doctor, definitely have to interrupt the Deathly Chills. They hurt. The tank should always interrupt the Shadow Bolt Volley. If you don't interrupt that Shadow Bolt Volley, it's going to be a full full group wipe. So usually you have the tank hold his or her interrupt for that, and then the DPS interrupt the Deathly Chills as needed. Sanguine weeks, I definitely love being a monk. In Legion, I was a DK, so Blood DK with grips was also really nice too. I don't remember how I did this. Yeah, so pull the left pack first to put hero on cooldown. Yep, this 4-pack here hurts. Actually, technically, you could trap 1 and pull 3, then 1, and then use the first 2 packs together as hero. Just thinking about that out loud, that's probably something that you could do. But anyway, kiting them back for the Sanguine, and then the Tornadoes, which is the right thing to do. No Sanguine left for this. Go this guy down, go to do the last pack. So far we're doing a really good job. Drop them down. And then by this time, the Sanguine pool should probably start disappearing on the left side. So that's the way you're going to end up kiting the boss for this. Yep, pull in the front. Right. 3, 2, 1, pull. So I always bring the boss up to the stairs the first time around, just for uptime on DPS, because you usually run 2 melee. I like to make sure that how far they have to run is actually a very short distance, so you can keep uptime on the boss as much as possible for this first set. Kill the ads when they pop up. And this ends up, I think, being a really good boss kill. I don't think we end up losing anybody at all. And we do it in a really good time, I believe. So run out for that. Ooh, no, almost died there, but our hero was able to keep him up. There's that. You have the hunter, just pew 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 them all. Misplaced there. That's that gold. But that's okay, because where the boss is, it's going to die. Even if there was an issue with that, as a monk, you have your Ring of Peace. So you just drop your Ring of Peace there and bounce them all back and kite them around. So I showed the initial part where we heroed. Some people actually don't like heroing there, which is weird to me, but it's neither here nor there. And people actually will wait and hold hero for this room here. That group literally just jumped on our healer immediately. I didn't have a chance to grab aggro at all or anything. However, you know, monk with the way I'm set up with my healing, I was able to heal to about 58k on myself, which helped. I took my trinket there. And then ended up, as we were killing these, started kiting backwards. Due to sanguine with this, you definitely want to make sure that you get some of the pools in the outside of the room, so you don't have to worry about the sanguine in the middle there. So we ended up doing that. So. Yep, okay, so this is the next pack here. Interrupt the Shadow Bolt. The one thing that people don't know with this, that I want to make sure everyone knows, is when the mind control comes out, you can stun them. And once the stun comes off, it will remove the MC for the most part. As long as it doesn't get broken like my paralysis did there too. So Null died there. I think I told him to release, probably? Yeah. So we're at 2 deaths right now, 10-second loss, which actually isn't too bad. In King's Rest, in my opinion, you can do one full wipe and then one partial wipe and still be okay. This one here. All dies again, so 3rd death there. So this last group right here is where some people hold their hero for. I don't like this decision because like here, it ended up being the last. So we're 13 minutes in the dungeon with our hero on cooldown, or with our hero not on cooldown. So that to me is a huge risk to have. And I don't like it. I try to always get hero on cooldown as fast as possible. So you just pre-pot on this and then just damage them out. And I think I just hit the king in this corner right here. DPS, I'm dead. There we go. So with this boss, with this lieutenant, I think I said it in my other videos, you always just want to make sure as the tank that you stay close, because if not, the ads always just bite the next closest person. So before you do any type of kiting at all or anything, you always just kill these here. So some people skip this guy right here. I always end up killing it. It definitely allows you, like I said earlier, to have that one full wipe. If you don't have the flight path here from the beginning, that one wipe, it makes it more dangerous. So I just set this guy here to kill from a pathing standpoint. After he does that slam, I always like to move him away before the beam hits, just so there you have, like, you see that full space around. Some tanks just leave them like right next to it. I don't agree with that, nor would I endorse that strategy. And see, he does the second purification strike, and then again move him away from there. Just right here is fine. That is the strategy I endorse right there. This room on Sanguine sucks so bad. And especially when you get one late to the party. And so the whole reason why I tried to put my ring there is try to keep all of the green stuff right there, and then in my head I completely forgot it was Sanguine. So I just literally made all of them go back up to 100%. If I had the live comms playing on this, I'm sitting here cursing myself out, telling how stupid that ring was. But as you can see here, we were able to recover quite nicely due to our DPS profile. And get everything done. I was so mad at myself though for that play. So we end up getting this stuff done here. There was a good blowback by our druid to give us more space. See, this time around I have ring and I'm not using it. So this is a play I saw some of the other tank streamers do, and I actually really like this one. You grab the far guy, and then you go and get, once he does the entomb, you go and get the close one. And then you have someone just kind of stand near that tomb, because what they do is they always tomb someone at their nearest location. So right there. So this way you can DPS them both down and just know that everyone's going into that one tomb right there. Normally you have the tank do this and just kind of sit right there. In this case, I had my healer do that because I wanted to keep Sanguine in the corner here. So I think in my head it's about that time to hit the ring, maybe? Or no, I just taunt away. Yeah, I just taunted away. Oh no, the druid who went into bear form and taunted away. That's right. So then this boss here stinks. So start pulling the boss there. I always keep him on the ledge to begin with for the fire. The easiest thing I found, especially when you have everyone in comms, is you mark all 4 of the tombs, and then you when someone gets entombed, they literally just say what marker they're on. So I, as the tank, will take one side, the healer will take the other side. So you can see the healer starting to run off that way. Gets entombed, over comms, says it's triangle, boom, done. In my opinion, that's the fastest way and easiest way to do it. I'm sure there's other strats out there, but if you have everyone on comms, that by far is the best way to do it. So then to make sure you have room on both sides as the tank, it's very important that you keep him in this front area right here on the steps, so all the burn is right through here. On Tyrannical, this makes it even harder to do because you end up running out of space a little bit. So you see I ended up cutting myself off, so I made the audible. You see the druid is running over to the other side as I'm having the druid cover the other side now, and I'm covering this side now. Ooh, excuse me. So we're at what? 9.8%. So at this point in time, I just brought him here, and then we just burn him down because we're not going to get another. I'm sorry, we get one more burn corruption, but it doesn't matter. We're not going to get another entomb. So the placement of that fire means very little to me at that point. So looking at the timer, we're at 22 minutes and 30 seconds. If we would have held hero for that one pact in the King's Room, we would still be about 40 seconds away from hero. And this pack right here is a pack that I always want a hero because of the Berserker and the Hex Priest. It just hurts. I mean, with the casting and the bleeds, the dots, they just hurt. So this is our hero pack. So we wouldn't have had it up for this if we waited. So that's why I like getting hero on cooldown. In fact, hero is up, would have been up right about now. So you kill that group, this Berserker and the Witch Doctor as a 2-pack will be here and pull them back, which would then should allow the Pat to come back and then away again for you to get the 2 Raptors with the archer person. I forget that one's name. Oh, excuse me. There's that. Get the Berserker down. There we go. Deadly shot, those can be interrupted. Poison barrage, here's how you interrupt the poison barrage and the deadly shot. You can't just do a standard interrupt on them, right? That's why that pink bar is there. The way you do it though is they can be stunned, or you can use some type of an end cap. So imprison, paralysis, hunters with their traps, anything like that would actually stun them to be able to not be able to get that cast off, which is what you saw there. So then we got that done, and then always do this obelisk first. Always leave the blob last. So we got the breaker. I Zen med this. Oh, excuse me. So this boss, this next boss here is going to be the council. I despise this boss. It's so bad. We did really well on this, but just mechanically, it's a tough boss in a pug group. But if you got a full run, everyone's in comms, most people end up doing pretty good with it. So anytime I enter this room, it resets on a week-to-week basis. I always look for the Axe Lady to be last. When I saw the Axe Lady was first, I just rolled my eyes. I was so upsetting because I wanted her last so I didn't have to deal with her axe throws throughout all 3 fights. Oh, look at that. I got a follow there. So now we're going to end up dealing with the whirling axes through all 3 of the bosses, which is just really annoying. Having the Axe Lady go last is actually my complete preference on this. So many axes. So we get that one down. This is the one with the Poison Nova. The Poison Nova has to be interrupted. If not, everyone dies. And then this one is with the 3 totems spawn. And if you don't kill the exploding totem first, and before it goes off, then everyone dies as well. So with this one, with the lightning bolt, you have all the DPS focus on interrupting that. And you, as a tank, save your interrupt for the... there's the explode totem. You as the tank save your interrupt for the Poison Nova, which K ended up getting that one. I was taking a lot of damage there, so I ended up trinketing there. So the important part is most comps you end up running one range. So the Poison Nova is the tank's responsibility right now. Once this guy or girl dies and comes back to cast the Poison Nova, that interrupt falls under the responsibility of the ranged. everyone kills the explode first. Boom. Then we go get the other one. I got the poison nova. Oh my goodness, I apologize. Alright, and so now from there on out, I just called out that lightning. Our hunter, his responsibility now is the poison nova. So this barrel through, it can be immune. So if you have an immunity, you should be calling out. So K right there had an immunity. He had blur, I think. So he just called it out. No, I'm sorry, netherwalk, not blur. Netherwalk. So he had his netherwalk available. So he just went to the opposite side and then was able to solo it. Mages, you have your ice block. Rogues, you have cloak. Hunters, you have your turtle shell. So then we can't do this one, so we stack here. Boom there. Everyone takes the damage. Healer heals us up. There's this poison nova. Our range interrupted like he was supposed to. And then Barrel, he had his aspect up, but we didn't need it. Two Berserkers, the Rogue, Null, he goes up there to activate the RP for the bridge on the other side to activate. The reason I usually do that, but it's if you have a melee that can do it, it just keeps uptime on the dungeon. Not necessarily uptime damage on the ads right now, but it's just one less thing you have to worry about, which should overall make your dungeon go faster. Okay, and then we're all back in. So this next part here is not something that I created or found out. I actually watched somebody do this and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. So the reason you leave the blob last is you can snap all 4 of the eyes to this point, to that point right there, to where the star is. So you can see I'm going to drop my transcendence there. But because of these growths, I'm having all of the DPS basically kill these growths for me, so I can get there faster. So all of the DPS stay under and go to that snap point there. I activate the obelisk, get it, and then immediately transcendence there. So the eyeballs have no line of sight to anybody, so then they snap to us. All 4 of them snap there, and literally they just melt. That is 100% a strat that I approve of on any key level with the obelisk. I just think it's just so smooth and easy for that. So if you have not done it, you don't necessarily have to be a monk to transcendence there. It definitely makes it easier because you're not having to worry about any of the eyes target you for the first part of it before you LOS them. So we ended up we have 3 deaths right now, so only 15-second loss. So the brute's passing, so for percentage you have to bring this pack here too. So depending on where the brute's at, depends on if you pull this pack now or you wait. Since the brute was right there, we actually ended up pulling it now. You end up running backwards because you want to get them out of that pathing there. And then as a tank you just run up and then just start DPSing. So, Shadow of Zul. On fortified weeks, this is something I typically am a big proponent on. This is the hero spot. You hero here and not the final boss, because it's fortified. So the Shadow of Zul gets that buff from the fortified affix for keys. However, we didn't do that here because our healer was extremely confident with how I'm profiled with my healing and where he's at on his healing, that he could heal through it. So I said, okay, we ended up giving it a go here, and we ended up doing really well with this. I'm going to pre-pot this, though, because of how much damage it ends up doing. So pre-pot, 3, 2, 1, go. He preemptively barked me there to get it to get the CD rolling. So you can see I dropped to like 30% there. So see, he's at 100k healing right now, and I'm at 48k healing. This is how much damage this guy ends up doing. So that right there, typically you have to soak. You can actually get away with not soaking it, as long as everyone's 8 yards away from it, which is kind of what we did there. So see, he's at 110. Now I'm at 59, 58k healing. I already used my trinket. He used his bark in the beginning. His bark's coming off CD right now. I don't think he ends up using it again. So I'm at 60k healing. So that's 100k and 61k healing overall for that boss. Well, mini boss. He ended up healing it, so we ended up getting it. If your healer is that confident in their ability to heal through that, I mean, they have to pump 100k healing on a 20 easily. But we were able to get it done, so, you know, props to him for doing that. Alright, and then this is the final boss here. When we came in here, the one thing that we did not know was Quaking Leap. So with Quaking Leap, how we originally thought, oh, you just run away, everyone gets out of that, and then you call it a good day. And then he ends up just jumping on you. No, that is wrong. As you get in these higher keys, you actually have to keep running until he jumps and lands. If he jumps on you on a tyrannical week, on a high key, on an 18 or 19, you're gonna die. So what you have to do is you have to keep running, because the damage drops off from not only from the big red swirl, but also from the epicenter on where he actually lands, so where the person he's targeting. So that is something that we ended up learning on a high key. So you see Null there run. I don't think my camera's going to pan to see him keep running through that. But that's something that you have to do, is you just keep running. So the first dino died. We're holding hero for when second dino comes up. Oh, so there, I think my camera's out of the way. Yep. So then we're all back. We're heroing. Kill Razan first. And then on the king. Alright, as long as that. So Quaking Leap. I don't think my camera pans there. But again, you know, so you see how far away K was, if you could see that at the very top of my screen. That is 100% what you do. You just keep running from that Quaking Leap. That was a bad Quaking Leap area, so I think he bared that. We had 3 battle reses, so if he would have died, we would have been okay. I think this was probably one of our first 20s completed. I'm not sure. %. Not really worried about damage because I have a bunch of frozen orbs, healing orbs. So I just healed up there. Roll through, kill boss, good key. It's 38 minutes, 51 seconds on a 20. Really, really good key. Hope you all enjoyed that. If you have any questions, please drop a comment. And again, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate the like.